In northern Saskatchewan, the suicide of a 10-year-old has devastated a community. What's worse is she is the fourth young girl this month to take her own life in the province. The 10-year-old was from Deschambault Lake. Two other girls from Stanley Mission and one from L'Orange were between the ages of 12 and 14. As the CBC's Allison Dempster reports, First Nations leaders want action for what they're calling a crisis.
A deep sadness has set in 3 remote communities in northern Saskatchewan. Community leaders are struggling to understand why girls as young as 10 are killing themselves, and they're desperate to stop it.
We're in fear. We just don't know who is going to be next. This is a crisis, and this needs to be on everyone's radar.
The suicides started just before Thanksgiving. Over 4 days in Stanley Mission and L'Orange, 3 girls between the ages of 12 and 14 took their own lives. Now another in Deschambault Lake, just 10 years old. More than 20 other young people from the area have been identified as high risk. Counselors and therapists are available 24/7 at clinics and youth centers. Today, the Prime Minister called it a tremendous tragedy.
It happens all too often, too many young people losing their lives, which is why we continue to be committed to working working with Indigenous communities across the country to deal with this ever-occurring tragedy.
Health Canada said last week it will fund 3 more part-time therapists for young people in the region until the end of December.
This is a problem that has deep roots, and I think really it goes back to some of the recommendations, the calls to action in the Truth and Reconciliation Commission, and those are also some of the matters that I will be working on to make sure that we don't continue this very devastating situation.
The Assembly of First Nations says the suicide rate among Aboriginal people is 5 times higher than the rest of the Canadian population. The AFN chief wants long-term solutions.
Our young people need hope, they need inspiration, they need to have the basic necessities of life, they need to have good housing, good water, recreational support services, mental health services.
In the short term, chiefs in northern Saskatchewan are urging parents to keep their children close and to make sure they know there's help. Allison Dempster, CBC News, Regina.